are doing COs on a regular basis or ECOs on a regular basis.
What's an ECO?
Lights on inspection.
I don't think most landlords want to take the risk of an electric bill or a water bill and then running up, huge bills. And so there's not a lot of incentive for a landlord.
You'd be surprised on the water bill. The electric, when we started in white settlement, the electric bills were usually the trigger because they wouldn't want to risk that. But there were a lot of them that would try to leave the water just to, and they were willing to eat that if it came down to it.
They take their deposit, $500, $750 deposit, and that pays the $400, $600 water bill.
It doesn't, because we're dealing with one now. It's a
Sometimes they lay and they get even more than that. But yeah,
Right.
I mean, that's the idea. The one thing about the proving, when we talk about someone proving they live there, that gets messy. So how do they prove they live there? I mean, so then, I don't know if we're talking about, driver's license or, what, because the current driver's license wouldn't cut anything, because they could have just put it in their name. So that becomes a messy process on proving they live there. I see that aspect of it. That's why I think that the messiness of that and the ability to fraudulently or whatever to try to get around the rule is enough to me to push it that once it just changes generations, it's an appropriate thing to do. And again, we're not trying to hurt anyone or anything. We're just trying to ensure our housing stock is up to standards. And that's a trigger point, like you had mentioned, every year or whatever, every house. I mean, that could be a trigger point. No one's suggesting that. But certainly when these things that don't happen very often happen, then it's a trigger point with which to do it, and it's real clean.
Well, right now, if it hadn't been inspected within a year, if somebody's in a house rented for 3 years, and they move out, then that triggers a CO. But if they move out, say, within 6 months,
And it's
that was inspected when they moved in, so it doesn't get another CO, does it?
It gets a lights on ECO.
Okay. And that's less.
Yes.
That's less than the.
That's less, but I mean, it's still allowing us to look for wires or something that somebody has done on their own, like come in and put in a light fixture with wire running as extension cord. I mean, it allows us to see these things as we're coming back in.
Now, see, I do, and I'm glad that was brought up, because this is related to this, so I'll bring it up. Several years ago, because I was actually ignorant of that, because that's not the way we did it in White Settlement. So whenever we were selling our house on Harvard, and one of the things I told the person was, I'll pay for the CO, and two, whatever issues there are, that's fair. We'll take care of it. So I got a CO. We did the inspection. We had repairs we had to make that I had agreed to make. And then, like 2 weeks later, they had to get, I know it wasn't the full one, but they had to still get a lights on.
They did a full one because it changed ownership.
Okay, then they did a full. So do we want to at some point look at whether there's, I mean, to me, I don't know, I don't want to create a whole new policy and waste everybody's time if that's something that happens once in 10 years. But if that's something that's happening on any sort of a regular basis,
that happens on new construction as well.
So to me, I don't know why we're doing a double inspection.
Because, like on new construction, and I'll use it as the example, the CO that is done is for the builder, and that's part of his building fees is the CO. When they go to sell, it changes ownership, so we do a new CO for the new owner.
But there's not anything.
So what are you looking at that was different than the first one?
It's
Any changes that could occur during that.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. And I know, again, you did the exact right thing when I was selling my house, and if that's how it reads right now. This isn't a criticism of staff, but does that make sense to you from a procedural standpoint?
We
for
don't,
you to inspect something you inspected 2 weeks ago?
It doesn't happen that often.
It happened when I sold mine, or bought mine in River Oaks. I had the seller do a C of A. He came in, fixed everything that y'all had noted, and I had to turn around and pay my $40 to have it done again.
So I would personally, I don't know if anybody else would, I would like that to be something we look at. Again, not saying staff did anything wrong, because that's the way it is right now. But to me, that makes no sense for us to, what's it say about it?
So but when you go back to say that, so when you sell your property, you're gonna have the utilities shut off in your name, correct? So when you have the utilities shut off in your name, the new owner is not gonna have utilities. So then what would trigger us to go out and
To me,
get utilities on?
To me, there would be a period of time that was, even if we wanted to just make it to, well, to me, that any CO, I mean, if it's, I get maybe not wanting to make it good for a full year, because the winter can get in there and do a lot of damage in a short amount of time, but to me.
Well, making the handyman.
Well, that's true.
We got a lot of handyman.
But making it to where, at least it can be valid for a month or something, a short window of time that clearly evaluates. Like you said, the new construction is even more absurd than what I went through. For somebody who's just done every inspection under the sun, and then you're gonna come back and inspect it again, and have somebody pay to inspect it again.
But that's part of closing on the new construction.
Right, but I'm saying when the new construction gets done, that the new owner has to then get a new CO when it goes from the builder. That's what you just said. When it goes from the
You just
builder.
did one for me, I mean, that's what you did with Club Oak.
Mhm.
You inspected that. I did all kinds of work to the house. You came and you did a CO so that I could get everything turned on and all that to get, inspections done. I sold it, and then that person comes back and you're inspecting the exact same thing?
Yes.
Yes.
Because the minute that you sell it, you're not gonna keep the utilities in your name. You're gonna shut the utilities
I
off.
understand, but I'm just now questioning. I knew that, I knew that's what's going on, but it seems like it would be less burdensome to staff if there was something that redundant. If you've already looked at it and you know that everything's good in that house and it's been sitting there for sale for 2 weeks and it sells, wouldn't it make more sense just to have something that shows that it's been 60 days, 90 days?
No, because our releases to Encore and Atmos is only good for 30 days.
But I think what he's saying,
Okay.
not, the part with the utility company would stay the same. It's just when the new owner came in to make application for their CO, the lady would look and say, oh, there's been one in the last 60 days. You don't need a CO. You know, she doesn't have to go out there. That's what.
Well,
Okay, so, yeah, I mean, what you're saying is change it to an ECO instead of, a CO
Okay.
for, new ownership.
Is that?
Well, if it's been a time, and I'm really just posing the question, I don't care. But,
Well, and my side to that is, not every seller does everything the right way, but if you go in there and the seller comes in there, and you're at the bargaining table and he goes, hey, I don't like this light fixture over here, you get Joe the handyman to come up and run an extension cord as a permanent wiring to that light fixture and change that light fixture. How are we seeing that?
okay, well, that makes sense. I mean, I've had times where I've spent.
And no offense, Joe,
on
it
smoke.
wasn't you.
Yeah, Joe, yeah. Everybody uses Joe with that. So that makes sense. I do still think looking at the new construction would be something to look at, and on the transfers like that, it going to an ECO.
And what,
Because what's the price difference, the cost difference between an ECO and a full CO?
$25?
So, I mean, I think that would be something, it still lets you get in to make sure that something like that hasn't happened.
And then on the new construction, I mean, what they
if
can,
I have
what they
to-
can do, I mean, like Ken Reed, he builds several houses here. He waits to do his CO before he goes to closing. So you're getting that one when you go to closing.
Just one.
Yeah,
Just one deal.
Right.
Right, but
So you're not doing it twice, you're doing it once.
I'm not understanding
For a
that.
new,
You're
you're
saying-
talking about a new, what are you talking about?
Yeah, because it's changing, on a new build, it's changing.
But he already.
So he doesn't get a certificate of occupancy?
he doesn't
the
get
buyer
it,
does?
he doesn't get an initial one, is that what you're saying? He waits to get that first CO until it's
He
transferred?
waits until he goes to closing.
But in that case, he has temporary power as a builder.
Yeah.
Right.
But not every,
You redone it.
but he's, I mean, would it be fair to say that?
No, he would have temporary power if he redoes the house.
Would it be fair to say he's probably learned to do that because he's done enough house